Hey guys, Caganeer Joe here with Ben Ferris, first place at the Carta Magica online webcam tournament today. Just gonna go over his deck profile that he played today. It was a Vegeks list. Top two were both Vegeks lists today. Um, Here's a quick look at his deck for anyone that just wants to kind of check it out before we get going. I'll have him go through just a few lines of plays and talk about how he felt the deck performed, how he feels the deck is in the current meta, and anything else he has to say. All right, Ben.
Hello. So I guess I don't really play enough, but I think Vegeks is really good, especially in best of one in general. I think anything in best of one should be played as aggro. You're just trying to play decks that can blow up. Don't have to really be consistent since you're not playing like 27 plus games in 9 round tournaments if you're going best round like best of three. So just kind of sticking to like regardless like Vegeks, reboot Gohan, Brawly swap, stuff like that. But so I took Vegeks. I would have played Brawly Swap, but I let my friend borrow it. So I guess it was a better call than me in the long
Yeah, I
run.
think you
But
outperformed him, so it worked out.
apparently, yeah, he almost missed round one, like you. But yeah, I think the Vegeks list is pretty like standard-ish. I don't play the Vegeks line. I basically took this deck from Dahan. I saw him beat Butters with it yesterday, well on Saturday, and it seemed unfair. He won on turn two. I was like, okay, seems really good. I guess I'll play that. That really just seemed
I
it
would
seemed
like
very
fast
straightforward.
games, and
Yeah, if you're just playing best of one like 30-minute games, like you're not trying to go long, especially on webcam. I guess like the webcam is different than in person, and when you're playing these
yeah.
webcam events, you got to play decks that don't necessarily have to be super interactive with your opponent, and aggro is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
it's want to be able to
yeah,
slam stuff, turn it sideways, and put the pressure in. Not be the one having to ask, so you have a response the whole time.
mhm,
Put all that
exactly.
crap on your opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically playing by yourself, doing things right. I mean, obviously, aggro is like everyone says like aggro is super easy to play. I don't really think it's super easy to play. I think aggro is very finesse based. You have to know how to combo, like when to combo, and like when to push and when not to push. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, at the basis, like the same thing with like every game you play, whether it be Magic and Red deck wins and things like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, we can
for
go through
sure.
the deck now. Like it's pretty standard. I'll just talk about a couple of the new cards
Yeah,
and
so let's look at this. I think the only card you're playing from the new set is Har Har, right?
Haro
Oh,
Haro Man
and
on
the
Mission.
Goku. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess like two things. I play four of the Double Strike Champa just because it's broken. Dahan said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you should play four. You always want to you're Millet, but it also wins. The big thing, I guess, like after talking with Dahan about playing this deck, because it came from him, was that you have to play through Dormant, and playing Double Strike is the only way to play through Dormant, really.
Yeah.
Because if you can Double Strike the guy that's you're attacking with because it's not negated, but then also Double Strike the next attack you have since you only have one other. So it's the only effective way to actually push a lot of damage in your two attacks. So you'll see this deck plays a lot of things that give double strike, or just things that have double strike. So
Mm-hmm.
I think 4-champ is kind of the way to play Vegeks right now. I think playing less isn't as good.
You gotta
Trunks
make sure you
kind of
see him.
standard. Yeah. Same as always, I guess BMS is another card. It's really good in the format right now. It's really you can kind of blow out the red brawly, I guess is like the new thing. It kind of obviously self awakens, but red brawlies can get blown out if you buy turn one BMS if you don't have the Trunks Overwhelm, because then they can't Vampa unless they discard two, and they hit the TPs and they discard two more if they want to play Ba. So or Ba, same thing. It's a sheep. But yeah, it's really just a
Green
broken
sheep.
card in a sense. The biggest thing I guess like for this deck, I didn't really awaken often. Once I got to 20 and drop, I kind of pushed to get to 4 life
Yeah,
before
you use like self
20 and drop.
awakeners, like Power Burst and BMS
Power
to
Burst,
get there.
Power Burst Trunks, and then early game Splintery Mine
Makes
to get
sense.
to
Yeah.
the 4 life. All right, then other ones. The next card's Haru Haru. Pretty, actually, really insane. That's the only difference between Dahan's actual list and my list. I play two Haru Haru. He suggested just play one. I decided to play two because I thought it was too good.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you're at
that
54 cards, right?
yeah, Dahan plays like 54. He didn't play the event. It was just like from locals and us
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. But I played 55. I just played one more. I think that the more it's a one drop double strike 15k that probably always has its permanent on at least on your turn, because they're not
Mm-hmm.
going to deal with the unison until it's their turn, and at that point it doesn't matter. So you're effectively just getting you get to save life sometimes compared to like BMS.
Yeah, for like
It's
situations where
your
you just
life.
want other cheap pushers that.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of like the old Kaba, right? It's a black Kaba that doesn't take a
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
So it's super good in that aspect. Always has a 5k combo compared to other black cards. They sometimes don't. So I don't know. I thought it was like really good. I thought it overperformed. I'm really happy I played two. I don't think I'd play
Yeah.
three. You can always get it back with power burst as well. So I thought it was very good
Yeah,
overall. It can get
with how they handled a lot of the other black like really solid cheap bodies from the past 2 sets. It's really crazy they made this only like one have 5k combo.
Mm.
Like the
Yeah, I
Goku for green
agree.
decks and the Bardock for red decks like having 0, and then this guy's like at least as good, maybe better, and he has 5k combo. It's like okay,
Yeah, I think he's better, but I also think
yeah,
it's different because it's not a free play, so you're not wasting
that's
energy
true.
on the other
That's true.
guys. So it has to be balanced somehow. It
Yeah,
is to me. I think this card should have like 0 combo power to be more fair. But again, it has a
yeah,
restriction. You have to have the unison, and it's only during your
yeah.
turn. If it was during both players' turns, that'd been even better. No one ever attacked it, so I don't know if they actually thought it had 10k extra, but never
Maybe.
know. But it was only during your turn, so
Chumps.
I have no idea. Then
Uh,
I played 3 of the Iconic Attacker. I thought the card was absolutely insane. It came up a lot during my match with another Vegeks deck that played Brawly. Not Brawly, but the boost stuff. It was very interesting. It was again, the player was super nice, but he played like the boost stuff in Vegeks, and I got to warp like his 2/6 drops to stop his like lines of play actually.
mhm.
And then I also like it was really good aggressively too. And if you can't get to 4 life, like to awaken early, like I tapped 2, milled 5 cards, compound another card when I had 9 and drop. So it can
Yeah, you're
help you
just like
get
okay.
there. Get to your 20 super quick if you don't hit your overwhelm on turn 1. Or if you do, so like turn 1, you can mill 5, play your guy, mill 5 more power booster. Next turn, you mill 5 more, so you're at 10. Say like 8 or 9, you play 2 iconic attackers, you get 10 more cards, 4 from each of them, plus the iconic attacker itself. 2 discards from like your unison, and you're at like 19 to 20 just there. So it's a
Yeah,
super quick way to self awaken early if you don't actually get to your 4 life. But I'm awaken most of my games because I got to 4 life.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
just
I thought it
another
was really good.
option.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good card overall.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
learned that it didn't affect unisons, but
Oh
that's just really
yeah, yeah. You're
good.
saying what was it round 6 or whatever? You almost
Yeah, I
used
was gonna
it
use
during a
it. That I was
unison
like, burn the
attack.
card. So I can't do that. Yeah, but
That
it is
last
what it
second double check on reading the card, and you're like, oh wait, I
is. Yeah,
can't
it
use
doesn't
that.
work. Yeah,
Yeah, so you can't use this card on a if you're attacking with your unison. You can't use this as a combo
yeah,
because
it
it's only
only
leader cards and battle cards.
unfortunately. Yep. Yeah, 4 power burst is pretty standard.
Yeah.
4 Kai's broken. I think the Vegeta super combo is strictly
Oh
better
yeah,
than
yeah. This is a new card too.
the super combo. Yeah, I think it's strictly better than Babidi, but I don't know. Again, I haven't played a lot, like so. I typically don't play a lot. I just kind of judge, but and I don't really play a lot of casually either. So
he's just a
probably
god
merits playing
gamer.
Babidi. I think it's just better. You have to be at 4 life though, because it is a 0/0. That happened to me. I literally comboed it when I was at 5 life. I was like, that's just a 0/0 now.
Mm.
Oops.
You don't get the effect
But
either, right? Yeah, it's just a.
yeah, nothing. Just a
Oof.
flat 0/0, so it sucks. But I think it's better than Babidi overall. I don't know. If you play Babidi, don't put anything back. So you pay 1 card of your hand to deal 15, let's say. Whereas with this, you put
Mm-hmm.
1 card at that bottom, which could be like effectively a useless card that you're not comboing, like whether it be like a unison or say your tapped out or power burst or
Mm-hmm.
iconic attacker if you weren't paying the 1, whether it be
Yeah.
defensive or offensive, and it lets you draw the 2, so you could get if you as long as you hit 1 more 5k from that, that's effectively the same in my head as a Babidi, because you're getting 15 off of the same amount of cards, but that helps you see 2 more cards in your deck, and it helps you fix your hand. So like you're
Yeah.
spending 1 card, putting 1 back, drawing 2. As long as you hit at least 1 5k and you're comboing it, you spend the same amount of cards as would if you just paid 1 Babidi and you saw more things. So I think it's better. But it
Yeah.
does have the thing where you have to have 4 life, which is not as good as Bobby in that sense.
But like, I'd say with you like planning on awakening through life, that's generally going to be fine anyway. And I'm counting 15 cards that you can't just like 5k combo with, right? So like, say
Yeah.
you're tapped out and you've already used a Kai on this attack, you can just like throw a second Kai to the bottom of the deck, draw 2 more cards, probably get more combo power out of it. Maybe even hit another super combo and dig even farther. So yeah, I think I see how this is better than Babidi now.
Yeah,
Like
I
after the
just
nerf,
I think it's just strictly better. Plus, it looks
yeah,
cooler. So
it does look pretty cool.
I hate cards with erratas because I want to be like I think players should be able to read the card and know what it does and not have to rely
Yeah,
on the site. Again, the things are just like I'm not a big fan of them in general.
yeah, just ban
That's next.
cards.
Trunks, Power Booster, like Splinter Mind, Launch and
Mm-hmm.
Boo, that thing. All the next like four,
Standard, the
four,
standard
five cards,
package.
standard
What's
stuff.
this one Vegeks?
Oh, I think it was useless. Dehan said to play it. I think it's because he likes it. I don't think it was useless. I thought it was absolutely useless. I never casted it. I think if I get to a point where I'm tapping 3 energy to play that card, I think I'm losing. And it's not going to do anything for you. I think that you're better off. This whole deck functions on 1 mana. If you like look at it, there's no
Yeah,
like the science. There's no like a mission accomplished foo. There's nothing. There's no Koitsuki's because all your stuff is very offensive and trying to win, like push to win on turn 2.
Yeah, this is
Like
all
if
gas.
you win the dice roll, so you get to play on the Trunks on turn 1, their turn 2, they play an energy, and that's it. And then your turn 2, you can effectively put them to 2 life or 1 life easily.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just don't think you ever need. If you're casting 3, paying 3 energy, you're not doing enough proactive things on your turn, and you're losing a lot of potential for double strikes, which is like a big thing for this format and like the way this deck always functions. But I
Yeah,
don't know. You
I'm
can
pretty
drop
sure the
it.
only reason Dehan wanted to play it is because he has a foil.
I mean, good for him. I don't know. I feel like I have most cards foil, so it didn't really
Yeah.
matter. But yeah, I think you could cut it and play 54.
Minor flex. Minor flex.
Yeah, it might have its merit just because it is good against like a Booney, where because they have to attack it if you play that.
Yeah.
So it would
Yeah,
match
because
with turns
it's
your
like a
turn
double
3, their turn
defender.
3
Yeah.
would be their turn 4. So technically, it would be good there because they have to punch into it and combo into it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's merit. But I don't know. I think if they're casting a Booney on you and they're gonna push your shit in, you're probably gonna lose if it's getting
Yeah.
there because you're either bricked, you didn't have enough, or they just had the nuts, and that's just gonna happen some games. Like you can't win every game. So yeah, that's just my thought on that card. I think 3 mana on a mission was like the right number. Also, I overwhelmed a lot. I actually like only ever reset my deck twice in the tournament.
Damn.
Overall, yeah, I won 2 games at 1 card left in my deck with like no way to like reset it just because like I was like counting, just making
Just
sure.
out of cards and everything. You're like,
Yeah,
it's
just like
all
the
in.
way. Yeah, it was just kind of like the way it worked. Like it was at my turn 2. I was at 1
Yeah.
card left in my deck just because I milled a bunch.
Jesus
I think it was
Christ.
just good. Like I Man on Mission's like a super good card, especially early. Like if you can turn 1 play Trunks, turn 2 play like turn 2 or your turn 3 like play your kill turn, play Man on a Mission first, and just try to. They have to deal with it like a 20k crit double strike.
Mm-hmm.
They did discarding. Like, it's a 10k later. They're discarding 3 cards to combo out if they don't have super. So I don't know. It's either gonna make them discard 3 cards, right, or they're gonna have to like actually like just grit 2, which is fine by you, right? You're just trying to make them lose, and then
Yeah.
not getting cards in hand. It does its job. I don't think I'd play 4. I don't think it's ever. You never like
Yeah, you're at
casting. You're
what,
playing.
7 total overwhelm, so like you don't want to push too much more.
Yeah, you're not really. You're playing it for consistency because you mill things, so you
Mm-hmm.
have to play more than one, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why there's like I don't like 1-ofs in this deck because I don't like milling them. Even though there's like the 1-drops you can get back with power burst, right? But this you can't.
Yeah.
If you mill it, it's gone. So I think like you play more of cards in at least Vegeks to get that. Make sure you see them, or you have options or ways and time to see them. But yeah, that's my 2
Yeah.
cents on that
You did
card.
you did just say you had a couple games where you only had 1 card left when you were winning.
Mhm.
Are you thankful you played the 1 more card than Dehan's list?
I mean, I would have lost. Yeah. It's the long run, yeah. That's true.
That 1 extra card. It's more than
It
just a
didn't
hard
matter,
card.
apparently.
It's an extra card in the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I know when Vegeks first, or when the deck list first changed, like people wanted to play 60 cards for decks like this, just so like you didn't deck out,
Yeah, I
But now
guess
you have to
there's
find that like
merit
happy
to it.
medium where it's like I'm not gonna deck out, but I'm also gonna see my pieces so I can actually kill my opponent.
That's very true. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I always think playing 55 or under is right because you
Yeah.
get to see more things. Just because to add more consistency, playing 60 cards loses consistency.
Yeah, you lose a lot.
But
And
it's good though, regardless of whichever line of deck building you play. I don't think one way's wrong, one way's right. But yeah, I guess also like the deck doesn't play like the evolve chain as well, just because it's kind of like aggro storm, like BS. Like you're just trying to win. You're not trying to like climb the chain. You're not paying 3 to like Union Fusion or whatever or Patara and climb and do that stuff because it takes too long. Because everything again
it
functions
costs
like
more than 1 mana,
like
so
one
like why
energy.
would you?
Like turn 1, you can play Trunks into the power booster. Turn 2, you can play the power booster into Mass Saiyan. Explain your mind. Then warp 2, you have to warp one of theirs aggressively to get to the 4 life. Because if you've taken 1 with BMS or if you mill the
Mm-hmm.
Trunks, then you're at 4 life for theirs. Or if they attacked your leader once and you had hit a Trunks for like a overrealm, not overrealm, but a mill, you'll be at 4 life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways like just self awaken in this deck super aggressively and super quickly.
Yeah, it's like
So
all kind of just based off what your first
I
mill
thought
is.
like
Like,
the
oh, you
deck
hit a
performed
Trunks, you're gonna
well.
play this
Usually,
way.
I
You're gonna
don't think I
do.
would change anything. Like for at least for best of one, maybe drop. I'd maybe play 54 cards and drop the Vegeks 5 like fusion. But
Yeah, but then you
I
gotta
think
deck
it's
out.
definitely splitting hairs.
You gotta put something else in instead of the Vegeks, so you don't deck
But
out.
yeah, that's good
But yeah, pretty
overall.
standard.
Like
I mean, deck
matchup wise,
archetype.
like I know my round 1 was like Sin Shenron,
Yeah.
um, which was really good. There's a guy from like Seattle. I played him in Gen Con before. Just the last Gen Con's event, like I played just to get the promos. So like I would like drop after like round 3 or 4. But Sin Shenron was good. I think I won on turn 2 or 3. He had like Nimbus, but then like I think a Nimbus or Time Magic. But there's really nothing I could do against it. It's too much. He didn't get to the 9 drops, didn't get to his blockers.
Yeah, he couldn't really
Doesn't
pop
really
off.
matter.
So
Turn gate round 2 was like green go tanks, really good. He had one dormant. I was able to play through it on the same turn and beat him. It was kind of like you just overwhelmed him with double strikes, and like he did break. He didn't like get to do anything. He had a gold cool turn 1, then didn't have a unison turn 2. So it was just kind of like really unfortunate for him. He didn't get his things. He needed to
yeah.
actually play the game.
So he had to like naturally awaken. He couldn't just do
But
the unison
there's
thing.
really nothing there. Then round 3 was like yellow go tanks from last set, which is actually really fun. I really like the deck. I think it's like super skill intensive. But he had like that match was really good. Like he was able to like the Vegeta iconic attack rare card's like awesome. Didn't negate my skills, like so I can't power booster on my turn. So it like sets you back, makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But again, really good. That and Release from Evil was super good in the matchup because then I can't like give my stuff double strike or he takes it away. And especially on like your unison, where if you Splinter Mind, not Splinter Mind, but like Release from Evil, your unison, after like dual attack double strike, it's like, well, that sucks. It's gonna untap and be nothing. But very good. After that was like a Bulma player, which is super cool. He was playing like the bandages stuff, which is super interesting. Unfortunately, like it just he couldn't get there. Like he Baba turn 1, played bandages. Then my turn, like I won the dice roll, so Baba turn 1 for him. I was able to go off, warp his bandages with like my not my power booster, but my Splinter Mind. Then his turn 2, he awakens, goes to 2 energy, plays like the Yamcha tournament pack from last set, not last set, but last tournament pack. Awaken, then pass. He topos me on my turn, but then I'm able to like discard. I was able to attack through it with 1 to put him to 1 life, and then warp his life with power booster into power booster into Splintering Your Mind.
Yeah.
So even like through topo, the deck is really good because you just play so many double strikes aggressively on your turn 2 or turn 1, depending like on dice roll format, and you're just able to push damage and through negates, I guess. Just as long as you're like, if I don't know, in this format where you're just trying to push damage, you don't really care if the cards go to hand or if they're critical as much because typically you can out combo them. There's a lot of unisons, which are dead combo power, a lot of like just like 110Ks and extra cards. So you can kind of assume that like at least 2 of their cards in their hand at all times are probably not comboable.
Mm-hmm.
But
Use
yeah,
all gas them.
there. After him, I played like what? I played the Vegeks mirror. It was the Boo Vegeks line. Really good. I won with off the iconic attacker stuff. It was really the only reason he bricked. We both bricked. I didn't open trunks. He didn't open any. It was like 2-drop Boo stuff. So like we were kind of like dirtling until like turn 3, where we were each able to attack a bunch. But like I was able to stop his attacks. He stopped my attacks a little bit. It just kind of came down to like who had eventually he ran out of steam first.
Yeah.
More than I did. But the deck was really good. His like ideas behind it were really awesome because there's like a lot of hand control. So he didn't want to play the normal Vegeks stuff, which I thought was a cool idea because like red brawler takes cards from hands, like green makes you discard. So playing Boo, having no cards in hand,
But that's like assuming that they're gonna
that's
make a
really
pass
good.
turn too.
It just comes to a point where you never have cards in your hand on your opponent's turn, so he would pass to me and have no way to defend. So I could just kind of attack him. He could take a card. I was like, okay, Moses 10k combo power. You can't super combo if it's like the Vegeta, but he played the Trunks the Trunks if you have like 5 and drop, like the sparking one. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like Moses 10 into a 5k. So like it's 15, and so you just combo appropriately to make sure he can never take damage. Like he can never out combo you, or attack or sequence attacks properly, so they can't actually ever like and deal with your attacks. You can push for game. That's just the only issue I see with the deck. But I feel that's like the idea behind it's awesome. It was super cool. That was round 5. Round 6 was Reboot Gohan. It was Reboot Gohan AOD. I thought the match was like super close. I almost punted the game because that was the game where I super comboed on 5 life and realized it was 0-0 because I awakened off of milling 20, giving the 20 cards in my drop area on my turn 2, his turn 1. So I was like, oh, I've awakened every time so far in the day by actually just gaining 4 life. So like, cool, I can awaken, use my super combo. No, I'm just an idiot. So I just like always said like, oh, it's 0-0, it's useless. I kept comboing, just like push something. But the way I won that game is I just pushed him to 1 life on his turn, like on my turn 2, so he could never actually like get triple strike with his leader. Because I
Yeah.
went to 5 life the whole time. It was my 5 life to his 1 on his turn 2. He had like 6 or 7 cards in hand. It was really good. The like green like Reboot Gohan can just win games with Foot. Like
Yeah.
Foot Kamehameha if he Kamehameha is broken. Like triple strike crit can win games. But yeah, I think it just kind of like mattered that I was able to sequence attacks properly and he just didn't have any like full ways to stop me, even with me misplaying,
Yeah.
to get him to 1 life. So I never felt threatened. And even if he was at 2 life, he couldn't like take a life to restand off his leader front side, then awaken on his turn to push like double triple. But he would still be able to triple strike me, then like restand and win. So obviously getting to 1 life is very important. Like, and then my last round was against another Vegeks player. It was like a locals. Like, so me and my buddy, like Troy, each played Vegeks. Like, we both had the same locals in Orlando, Maitland. It was pretty cool. We somehow dodged each other the whole event. Different Vegeks decks. He plays like the chain climbs up 60 cards. Both have merit. And I think it kind of just came down to I won the dice roll in that matchup, and then I think yeah, we each opened trunks. We each opened like the same thing. We each like milled exactly the same turn one. He just was able to like attack me on turn one. I took it. I dealt his board, killed his unison, passed to him. I had like 2 power bursts. He kind of like ran out of steam on his turn, went to 4 life, passed back to me with me at 2, and then I was able to beat him because he only had like 1 card in hand on my turn 3, and that was kind of it. It was a really close game. It just came down to like sequencing of like negates, me having 2 negates and a blocker against him versus his none. I think 2 of my super combos were prized and like 1 of his were, but
Prized.
yeah, overall I thought like the matchups were hard. Like I didn't play. I guess weird because like I didn't play a bunch. Like I didn't play 4 or 5 Go Tanks in a row. Considering like looking at like the stats, is the most like represented deck. I played 1 green Go Tanks. I played like not like a like didn't play like a super lot of meta deck, so it kind of like could be why I perform well. But at the same time, like 2 of my opponents went 6-1. 3 of my opponents went 5-2. So they did finish well. Their type, like my tiebreakers were pretty solid overall. But again, it was like all aggro stuff. So like kind of showing like best of ones formats, like control decks, I don't think typically do as well compared to best of 3, where I think control decks or just more like mid-range decks do a lot better because you typically perform better with side, and like they're more consistent in the long run where they don't have to worry about like bricking as much. Whereas these decks are like you just brick on your mills, you brick on like your opening, which are much more crucial pieces. Then you kind of just like screwed and you lose. Where these decks only have to perform like 7 games in a row, and that's it. Compared to like a real event, like a real like in-person event is like 8+ rounds, 3 games each round, like 24+ games, which would change the game completely and drastically, especially with sideboards.
Yeah, much smaller sample size and.
About it. I'm make a turn report, but
Ben, I'm pretty sure you can't hear me, right? You can't hear me.
if you're
What?
talking this whole time,
What's up? Yep. He
no,
can't hear
hear
me.
you, bud.
Still can't hear me? I can't adjust his volume. But yeah, he pretty detailed recap he gave. Once he gets us back, I guess we got a few quick questions. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure his headset died on him. God, he's so gorgeous. Just like.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, bud.
No. I was like, you were just rambling on. I'm pretty sure you can't hear me. It was a good recap, though. It was a good recap. I had nothing really. I threw a few. I threw a few small things in, and you just kept talking through them, and I was like, he can't hear me at all. There's no way.
I saw your mouth moving and didn't question it. You just kind of talk sometimes, man.
I do. But yeah, it was a good rundown. I don't really have anything crazy to add to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like just a Vegeks deck. Like it's
yeah,
still
like
really
it's
good. It's been
aggro.
nerfed twice. Still really good. Like
Yep.
they don't need Bibbidi. Bibbidi was a problem because it was overpowered. But now you just kind of adapt and change the deck. You can still play through Dormant, lacks consistency like for best of 3, but it's probably still a really good best of 3 deck because the black cards are typically do so well as post sideboard. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just think like consistency is a major thing when you're looking at like longer real events. Not that the webcam events aren't super real, but they're just not like what we would consider super competitive events where they're like best of 1, like best of 3, like multiple times. Typically, caliber play is different. People aren't trying as hard on these webcam events. But at least the webcam events now, like we actually are playing for winner prizes. We actually have like a premier, like kind of like a mini Nats, I would say like a webcam Nats type thing that you qualify for through these events.
Yep.
So it's really cool. I think Bandai's trying their best to adapt, besides doing like an online client, which might not be feasible at this time, at least for them. So I think webcam's like the next best option, maybe. Outside of like untapped things, which I don't know. I think everyone has their own opinion on whether or not they should use untap, but
It's like, as a company, you don't want to rely on another company's product if you don't have like an actual agreement with them or anything like that. Like, it's a lot harder. Plus, if they like start promoting Untap specifically, it's like if another program does it and like it becomes harder for them to like do an NDA if something happens and they want to like NDA someone. Like, oh, you're supporting one company. It's a whole like legal gray area that starts like popping up, you know. So they probably just want to avoid stuff like that. So they're not gonna like officially support Untap. But I mean, there's always the chance that they're in the background working on a online client with all this stuff going on. They're hoping to like have one of their. I only hope.
I agree.
Yep. Any shout outs or anything you want to give before we wrap this up?
Sure, yeah. First off, to Daehan beating Butters, I wouldn't have played the deck if I didn't see Daehan beat Butters on turn 2. With him having 1 energy, I think that was a really big eye-opening. Thinking I was like, wow, that seems broken. I can do that too. And then to Gamers R Us, always like my team, my favorite team. It was really fun. I really like the guys. They help me out a lot.
Who's the cutest person on Gamers?
The cutest person on Gamers, probably Eric, because he doesn't play, but he runs the store basically. So I love that guy. Yeah, not you, Joe. You tried. But yeah, everybody on the team, like, love the guys. It's good. And shout out to all my judge friends, like, I don't know, like George, Kevin, Yomi, everyone. Just because like it's cool being able to judge like every event and come and play at an event, even if it's not a super big one, and do super well at it. It's nice.
But, I guess House would say the judges are overpowered.
Yeah, Eddie did say the judges are overpowered. Yeah. I know we know too many things, But yeah, pretty much it.
All right, man. I appreciate you hopping in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone out there, Joe. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you liked it. I know it's a pretty standard deck's been around for a while, but this is definitely an all gas version, so maybe a little different than what you're used to seeing.
It is. It's all gas. There's no breaks. I don't think there should be breaks on the deck right now.
Yeah. I mean, Troy performed pretty well with the line too. I might have him do a little thing just to kind of see both sides of the deck and see how the other version can play.
Yeah.
First and second place, I mean, you can't. It's performing, so like both versions are definitely good. It is best of 1 event, so it's not like as sweaty as like a best of 3 event, but
yeah,
it's still a pretty good show. And I mean, I'm one of the people that made the mistake of playing a control deck in best of 1 format and just getting run over by all the aggro. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay cute, and I'll see you next time.